Hello and thank you for joining the vSphere 6 data center design. My name is Maruf and I'm the instructor for this course. Today we will be looking at virtual machine provisioning requirements and virtual machine design files. For any typical configuration, following information should be verified. Virtual machine name and inventory location, the target host, cluster and resource pool where the virtual machine will be located, the target data store where the virtual machine files will reside, the guest operating system and version, and parameters for the number, size, and provisioning settings for the virtual disks. This information is important to know beforehand prior to provisioning a virtual machine. In addition to a typical configuration, there is a custom configuration which requires further details. Details like the virtual machine version, the number of CPUs and memory size that the virtual machine will be configured with, how many NICs and what are the networks to connect to, and what are the network adapter types that should be chosen. The SCSI controller type, should it go with LSI logic or it's supporting an older version. The disk type, should it be a new disk, an existing disk, an RDM, or even the VM to be configured with no disk, which is again a valid configuration. So in addition to the typical, the custom configuration should also be taken into account. The virtual machine design files include configuration file or the VMX file, the swap file, BIOS file, the log files, the virtual disk files, and the snapshot files. In the next slides, let's take a closer look at some of these files. The virtual machine files are located in the virtual machine's file location, which is typically /vmfs/volumes and then the data store. In this case, the data store chosen is data store 1. The virtual machines are located here, and we can see the VMX file, which is ending in .vmx. The .vmdk is the virtual machine disk file, and other files that we looked at earlier should also be located in the same folder. When we open up the virtual machine configuration file, the .vmx file, it is a small file between 300 to 500 bytes. It includes the complete details about that virtual machine. As an example, here I have highlighted the virtual machine hardware version, which is version 13, which corresponds to the vSphere 6.5 version that we are currently working on. It also provides information on the presence of some SCSI devices, an internet Ethernet card. The virtual machine display name is shown here, as well as the name of the guest operating system. All of this information is very useful, especially when we are scripting or automating, and the script can pull that information from the text file. In addition, we have the virtual machine disk file descriptor. The virtual machine disk file always comes in pairs. We have the .vmdk, which is a descriptor file similar to the VMX. It is a small file, it's text-based, it's 300 to 500 bytes in size. It points to the -flat, which is the file containing the actual data. As we can see here in the highlighted part, the formatted type of the disk is VMFS, and it's pointing to -flat.vmdk. This is the actual file which contains the binary data. We also notice the adapter chosen is LSI logic. It's thin provision as shown here. It's set to 1, and the hardware version is 13, which corresponds to our earlier value that we recorded. So again, for automation and scripting purposes, it's important that the script can pull this information from this file and make that automation work. We also have the virtual machine snapshot files, and this file shows the number of snapshots and the timestamp when they were taken. A quick summary of this video: identify the important virtual machine files and their location, typical custom virtual machine configuration, and the information that is needed beforehand, and a quick review of virtual machine configuration, disk file descriptor, and snapshot files. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for further videos in this series. Thank you very much.